Before we get started, just a reminder that you can find all of my available rental properties on my website at marcguzman.com. If you own investment property, click on the Owner Services section to see our complete list of services. Thank you to our sponsor for today's episode, East Brother Beer. Located on Canal Boulevard in Point Richmond, East Brother Beer mixes classic brewing styles with precision and modern sensibility to create the perfect Bay Area craft beer. Last year, Jasmine Walker and Ashli Patrice came onto the podcast to talk about their mini web series, Can We Be Great? The story was one that a lot of people can relate to, trying to accomplish your goals and dreams in today's world. Today, we catch up with Ashli and Jasmine to recap the first season and take a small peek at what could be coming in season 2 of Can We Be Great?
So you can be just focused on like the interview.
Correct, yeah.
Absolutely.
Recording now, so.
Oh, okay, fabulous.
Okay, are we sure?
Yeah.
But the two of you were great on the second try. I mean, it was like natural. It was like, I mean, we were in it for like 25 minutes
I was
already.
super nervous though the first time. I was like, nah, I'm glad we did the second time because I was like super nervous.
It was like rehearsal, right?
Yeah. You got to get that first one out, and then
Okay, so for a lot of the listeners and now the viewers, so Facebook live stream.
Yes.
But for a lot of the listeners and viewers, Sam, if you can pull up the episode number that they were on last year, and then we'll reference that later. But people can go back, check out that episode to get the backstory on how Can We Be Great series really got started,
Right.
and how the two of you really met.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a great story too.
Link up their page.
Perfect.
Awesome.
So, one thing I'd like to ask people
Mm-hmm.
is what's got your attention right now? In this day and age, there's a lot of stuff going on. So what has your focus right now?
Do you mean entertainment wise?
It could be anything. It could be a book, music, politics, anything.
Gosh, a
There's-
lot. There's a lot.
There's a lot, and we are like, we soak up so much too. So we're like big TV show people. And actually, there's a show that actually has my interest right now. I'm so glad you mentioned this because I've been waiting for opportunity to talk
That's
about
why I
this
like
show.
to ask.
Yes, but I don't know if you've heard of the show called Killing Eve with
No.
Sandra Oh. It's a BBC show that
Okay.
is spectacular. It's like a cat and mouse TV show about this person who's trying to catch a killer, basically. And it's fantastic. And that definitely has my attention at the moment,
Okay.
which I finished, by the way. But it had my attention, I should say.
Is that on Netflix?
Yeah, it's actually on Hulu. But
Okay.
it started streaming on Hulu maybe like a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
They have all the seasons?
It's only one season, 8
Okay.
episodes, so it's a quick little. And that's what's nice about the BBC shows too, is that they're much smaller seasons. You don't have to get through 22 episodes to catch up. 8 episodes, one season.
You know, I won't watch a show if there's only one season. Just because, yeah, I get into binge watching,
Yeah.
and then I'm like,
Yeah,
I want to
it's
see
the
2
disappointment.
seasons.
No, you're right.
Exactly.
You're right. I was
Yeah.
very sad actually when
Yeah.
when I finished 8 episodes. So no, you're right. It was it's melancholy.
Yeah, there's got to be at least 3 seasons for me.
Oh
At least 3.
wow!
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Oh yeah, I'll go through like all 3 seasons on a weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Binging is the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. What has my attention? A lot, but I guess what do I want to choose from? I guess I'd say comedy has my attention right now. I was just actually having a conversation with Jasmine's mom and how like comedians are like back in the day comedians used to kind of get a pass to kind of say whatever, and now she's like, like comedians even have to be careful what they say.
Absolutely.
But not only that has my attention now though too, because I did it one time. I did an open mic stand up like a month ago, and so I want to keep doing it
You
every
did
week.
open mic?
Yeah, I did open
Wow.
mic. Yeah.
There's a lot of people that don't give that a try just because it's so overwhelming to get up in front of people.
Yeah, I was so nervous. It took me I've been wanting to do this for a while, so it took me a few years to even just do it.
So how was it?
It wasn't as bad as I thought. Like I got a few chuckles, so I was glad about that. There's definitely silent moments. But then after I got off, I was like, oh man, that was life changing. Like it was the best. So I think I'm gonna go at least for this next year. I'm gonna go at least once a week. Try to dedicate going like once a week.
We've had a few comics here on the podcast recently, and
nice.
we had Chris Riggins, and in fact, I just saw Chris Riggins at Cobb's Comedy
I used to work at
Showcase.
Cobb's.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever meet Chris?
Probably. If he came regularly, then I don't recognize the name, but probably by face. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, his
and-
name sounds really familiar to me, but I can't think of his
Yeah, I
face
can't
right
think of
now.
his face. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been around in the comedy scene for quite a while. Even opened up for Dave Chappelle.
Okay. Then
Yeah.
yeah, I probably know, like seen him before. Yeah.
Actually, I have a face now. I think I might know who that is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was funny because I forget the place in San Francisco outside of Cobb's or Punchline. It's a smaller comedy club where he'll do like he'll host an amateur night or he'll host also open mic night.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were talking about that a little bit and just kind of the pressure. But he loves it because you're right there up close with people. Like this is a very intimate place,
Yeah.
and you're just a few feet away from the first row,
Okay.
and you could just feel the people
Yeah.
either laughing at you,
Right.
laughing with you,
Right.
or really disappointed that you're not funny.
Right. Right. Yeah, no, it's such a weird thing. But I also like I'm doing it for like
There's a
two
picture,
reasons.
Chris, if y'all wanna.
Oh,
Maybe. Maybe.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe I've seen him.
Yeah. Has he done the Because I was recently at what's the one in Pleasanton or the
Tommy T's.
yeah, has he done
Tommy
Tommy
T's?
T's? Because he kind of looks like somebody who might have been
I'm
one
sure-
of those lineups that I
I'm
was
sure he's
at.
performed there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
At Tommy T's though, they have the same thing that they do like Cobb's, like during the week. Like usually the bigger comedians come on like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then they fill it in with like showcases and other stuff. So he
Yeah.
probably does that too. Like
Yeah, Cobb's used to do it every Wednesday. Now I think
They don't
every
do it no
oth-
more?
I think they do every other Wednesday.
Okay.
I don't think it's as often as every Wednesday.
Okay.
Okay.
But it's like from 8 to 11. The time flies by so fast because you're
Right.
talking about 15, 20 comics
Right,
getting up
right.
on stage, one after the other.
Right.
And I used to go to them all the time. And then I hadn't been to one in probably 7 years.
Oh,
and
wow.
it was just hilarious. Like, it was
Yeah.
just a great time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes you get some like, cause these are like kind of local. They're not like big yet, but they're like kind
Local
of
famous a little
yeah,
bit?
yeah. And you kind of like I find like new comedians like I'm gonna watch their career, watch as they grow, cause you like them, like they're funny. So
Yeah.
yeah. But comedy is so crazy. Like it's so hard.
Yeah, it's hard, and it's funny that you bring up the issue that comics have to be very careful with what they say.
Yeah.
And I guess that kind of comes down to the audience you're catering to or who your core audience is, because
Right.
there's some comics that can really say whatever they want and they can get away with it, and their fans are gonna love them even more for saying
Right,
it, right?
right.
I
Paul
guess
Mooney.
I love Paul.
Yeah.
yeah, I guess it just comes down to how you are as a comic, and
Yeah.
from the very beginning, like how you are.
Right.
I mean, you have Bill Burr.
Yeah,
Burr,
I actually just saw him. I work at a comedy club now in New York, and he was just at our club like last week, 2 weeks ago.
Hmm.
No, I think it was last week actually.
Yeah, that guy's hilarious,
Yeah.
but he's got no filter.
Yeah,
He'll
but
just-
but I think it's what you're saying too. It depends on what your goal is too. Like if you're just in the comedy lane and that's where you want to be, then you kind of have. I think you have more leeway. But if you're trying to go more mainstream and kind of get into Oscar
Like-
hosting and stuff
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
that,
Right, or
then,
TVs, movies, you gotta
movies,
probably
people
be
with
cool.
sponsors and people who might be more sensitive to your message. Then then you have to. They like to bring up things you said over the last 25 years. And,
yeah, if you look
yeah.
at Kevin Hart's material,
Yeah.
or what's that Italian guy, Sebastian?
Someone just who was
can't-
telling me about him? Was that you?
It might have been
Sebastian, not Maldonado, but it's Sebastian something. Yeah.
And he's like, it's crazy to see what he's doing because he's one of the biggest selling comics in the world. And I hadn't heard of him
Bigger
until,
than Louis C.K.
Yes.
Really?
Like, this guy's
Louis
huge.
C.K. was.
He's selling out
was.
stadiums and like crazy stuff. And no one's ever really heard of this guy.
Oh, I know.
mean, a lot of people
I know.
have.
He just told me about him. Just sent me a clip of his stuff. I was like, he's funny. I never heard of him.
He's funny, but a lot of his stuff is very mainstream.
Okay.
And it caters to a wide range of people.
Okay.
Which
okay.
is probably why, so if you wanted to scale that size, you really have to you can't say very offensive
Right.
things,
Right.
because your audience really caters to everyone.
Right.
Or your material caters to everyone.
Yeah.
Wow. I gotta look at more of his stuff then. Like I didn't know he was selling out stadiums. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I want to say he sold out Madison Square Garden I think this coming New Year's, I think the first or second weekend of January, he's got some shows coming up, and he's got all of them already sold out.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. And like none of us have heard of him.
No.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm
And
a
he's
big
been-
fan of comedy.
Yeah, and he's been around forever too.
Does he have a Netflix special?
I believe he does.
Okay, because I think that's why I might have seen his name.
Yeah.
Okay. And I had like an old clip. Someone sent me like an old YouTube clip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So episode 21, it was Halloween in 2017 is
Oh my
when we did
god.
the
Oh
last
my
podcast.
god.
That was a little over a year ago.
Yes.
Yeah, so welcome back. So let's get into the series, the web series.
Okay.
How did the launch go? How did the series go? What was the feedback? And how's it been in the last
Last year.
13, 14 months?
Yeah,
last
yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wanna start it off?
Yeah. I think our launch initially, because we launched with a trailer first, and it definitely built up really well. We definitely used social media. You know, we were Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and
Our peoples,
all our
yeah,
peoples.
trying to tell her. I was sending like links to my friends, like
Yeah,
watch this,
yeah.
please, and send links to your other friends. Telling my sister to hit up her college people at Howard, like, like let it go viral, like just yeah, we was doing whatever we could.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think when we finally launched, we actually got really good feedback. I think even to this day, our trailer definitely has the most views of everything. Because I think we went hardest on our trailer than we
Yeah,
did even
yeah,
once we
yeah.
started airing episodes. Because, I mean, we'll get to the lessons learned once we proceed a little bit. But I think just in terms of the launch, one of the things that kind of slowed us down a little bit is that, and I think that this is one of the big lessons, is that we should have our whole season completed before we start.
Right.
We were like literally still shooting as episode. Like, we were
Yes.
literally
And
like, it was
actually
like,
still writing. We
yeah,
had
we
to
were
like
still
rewrite.
finishing our content as we had like our first episode ready for the launch, and then as we were doing editing 2 and 3, like we literally were editing like the week before we were putting it out,
Wow.
and it got super crazy,
Yeah.
especially towards the end. Like, and we had the nerve to be like, we're gonna be releasing them every week at 8 o'clock on Wednesdays or whatever it was,
We
and
tried.
we would be like, I mean, we have jobs, like we
Yeah.
try to make this happen. So one of the lessons I think we learned is that you should just have the season complete before you start launching, so that
Right.
it's just the funness of releasing them, and not the stress of like having to get
Right.
them ready to be released.
Cause I think we were trying to put out the finale, like, cause we
Yes.
was really trying to like
Yeah.
be done with this, and we was like, I think I had to I was sleeping on the
Yeah,
floor of my
we was
studio.
doing
I
the
was like
most.
waking up every 2
Yes,
hours
it
to
was.
like
It
give
was
her the
insanity.
files.
It was
That
insanity.
that was crazy.
Yeah, because I was doing all the editing, but she was doing all the sound, and so we had to kind of combine. And we definitely were a little more salty towards each other towards the end of the season.
Right.
Like, yeah, it got a little intense, especially towards the finale.
That was just one night.
Yeah,
It was just one night. Like I
Yeah.
just I
Yeah.
can't. I was like I can't anymore. I don't even. I can't do
Yeah.
this no more.
Yeah, but
So-
go ahead.
So what caused some of the delays? What was it? I mean, were there issues that came up, or was it just there was so much work involved?
The main thing is that we had a day job. So I
And
mean,
we
you
were
had a
doing
day
everything.
job, and I worked overnight. That was my
Yes.
day job, but my hours. So that was the main thing in the way because that
It just takes
take
our-
up.
a
Yeah,
lot
and
of
we're
time
both
every
full
day.
time, right?
Full-time,
Yeah,
yeah.
full time. So that's 40 hours, plus this. So that was the main thing, and then also because it was really just us.
Yeah, literally.
So
Like,
we had to
we were
do.
a two-woman team.
Yeah,
Of
we had to-
everything, especially for post production, and then of course, like as we were like I said, we were still filming episodes on top of everything else, so getting people's schedules together,
Right.
and like I don't know, and even then, like I'm like I don't know how we came up with the idea to release them without finishing first, because like literally,
I think we thought we could do it.
we just had high hopes for
We're
our
super
for our
ambitious.
lives. Yes.
Well, but the thing too was that was our first kind of our own thing. Like we've
Yeah.
done other stuff
Yeah.
like separately, but that was our first own thing. Like our kind of like our baby. Like we wrote it, we thought of it, we created, we wrote it, we filmed it, we did all of it. So it was our first thing. So like we just kind of didn't know.
Yeah, so it was
Yeah.
we just didn't know, and we were so excited to put it out that we just
Right.
were like, we're gonna start putting it out, no matter if we done or not. And,
Right.
And so so I think what we ended up doing too is it was like episode 1 dropped, episode 2 dropped the next week, episode 3 dropped
And then
the
there
next
was a
week,
break.
and then there was a break because
We were like,
got
"Sorry,
behind."
y'all.
We was like, so
Yeah.
I think it took maybe like 2 or 3 weeks to get the next ones, and then we like wrote them out in like the same day. It was like 4,
Yeah.
and it was like 4, 5, and 6. Like it was
Yeah.
just. Yeah, it was a lot. It was kind of rushed towards the end, but I was really happy with like our finished product of the ends too. Like I liked our finale. I liked the progress of the season. And it was like it was a lot of lessons though. Like and one of the biggest things is we just like I learned, because I love filmmaking. Like my passion is in editing. My passion is in directing. My passion is not in filming. So, but because we do everything. I'm a filmer. I'm a semi lighter. You know, I'm doing
You are
everything.
the director, cinematographer, the DP,
The DP,
the first AD, like we are
the grip.
all of
I'm a
that. Yeah.
grip. You know, I'm a best boy. Like I'm doing everything, every role, and you know, you just need a team. Like filmmaking, you need a team. You need people who are dedicated to certain different roles in the film. So you need somebody who loves lighting. Get somebody who loves lighting to do the lighting. You know what I mean?
And
I do
working
not
with
like
like
lighting.
people who want to be actors too.
Yeah.
Not that we had terrible with because these were like our friends. Like
Yeah,
and so for them to
our cast was
dedicate
was
their
our
time
community. Oh
for
yeah,
our stuff, like that was amazing.
Yeah.
But probably next round we want to work with people who actually want to act.
yes.
Like it's just
Yeah.
different process.
But it was fun though. It was. Let me just say this one thing though. It was a party. Like because our final episode, it was a. I don't know if you've been able to see it, the end how it ended, but there was a party. That kind of was like the conclusion. I think actually it was in the 5th episode. It was like this big party, and we kind of invited our community to be part of this party, and it literally turned into a party, like because we had no actors, so their idea of a party was like let's just make it a party.
Yeah.
People were really drinking, people were really getting drunk, people were like it was just like oh my god, this is like
It's like a
so
party.
so it was just like we need real actors eventually that actually are dedicated to the craft, and
Right.
but it was great though. Like our community was like they were troopers. Like we had so many people that helped us and gave us spaces to film and all that kind of stuff. So it
And
really
dedicate their time, like
Yeah, and like you said, it's a great first experience,
Yeah.
Oh
right?
yes.
I mean, you learn so much in it
Right.
to where season 2 then becomes a different piece of art in
Yes.
itself,
Right.
right?
Yes.
So, at what point did you decide, okay, we need to make season 2? Because, or was there ever a thought that maybe you were planning season 2 and then
Well,
said, hey,
yeah.
we're gonna scratch season 2 because it's too much?
well,
It's-
well, we
It's so
started.
funny you say that.
Wait, well, we started.
Yeah.
I guess we never. Honestly, I didn't even know. I think we talked about this the first time we heard. Like, I didn't even know where this was gonna go. As far as relationship wise, whether
Mhm.
business, friendship, whatever. So, I was just in it to see. And then as we started doing season 1, I'm like, oh, okay, this is gonna be like a business partner. Cool, cool. And so I guess as we started writing, I was like, this is dope. We should definitely have a season 2. But I think more so I wanted a season 2 after we started getting feedback. And people were like, we
Yeah.
want them longer. Where's the
Yeah,
season
where's
2? And I'm like, oh
to
no,
this
we
day, I
need a
got friends
season
who
2.
still like, when's
Someone
season
just
2?
hit me up on
Yeah.
Instagram like, where's season 2? No, and I think your cousin hit me on Instagram was like, is season 2 up already? I'm like, I wish, but nah. And then now it's to the point I don't even want a season 2. So I mean, I don't know if you feel. I think you feel
Yeah.
the same way.
It's. Let me clarify how that, because I think it sounds like, oh, I don't want to do a season 2 because experience something like that.
Oh, nah,
But not
nah.
like that. No, I think we realized through season 1 that we kind of closed this particular
The story.
Yeah,
It's
the
just
story. Yeah,
yeah.
like,
There's other stories to tell.
yeah, and I think it was such a great learning experience. It was a great experience with cast, with production, with post production, with all that kind of stuff. And I think we're ready to do kind of new projects now and kind of start with a new cast and a new and one of the things I'm really passionate about right now is really writing and stuff. So I'm really trying to work on some scripts that I can kind of get from the ground up and then produce some new stuff. And so yeah, I think we've kind of decided kind of collectively. They're like, I don't think we're gonna do a season 2
Yeah.
for this particular project.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be a season 2 of the actual web series, but it would be like a complete new project.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Basically, a part 2 of
Our
your
production
career.
company, yeah,
Yeah.
or our.
I mean,
our,
I don't even know if it would be. I think it would be a completely different
It would
thing.
be the next step in the evolution of what you do together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, do you have any ideas of what you want to do next?
Oh, I have a lot of ideas,
Yes,
but
absolutely.
Is it being penciled down? Are you writing already?
so
writing.
I'm writing notes because it's not like I haven't started writing anything really. I'm just notes like I'm like okay, and then thinking time wise, and because I'm in school because I don't even live in California right now, so trying
There's
to
another reason why season 2 is just
Yeah,
it's a
that-
lot to
yeah.
try to make happen
because I
you
don't
know, when you
even
live
I'm in New
different
York,
states. Yeah.
so
Mhm.
there's some notes. I definitely mentioned stuff to her.
And I mean, like I said, one of the things I'm really interested in is writing right now. And so one of the big projects I'm working on is trying to develop this book that I think has a fantastic
Don't
story.
say the name yet.
Yeah, I won't say the name. I won't say the name yet. Into a film, a feature film. So I'm working on a feature length script right now that I would love to like get perfected and ready for production.
So, it's a book right now, and you want to put it into a feature film.
Yes.
I would imagine that's got to be very difficult because obviously a book you can have up to 1,000 pages if you wanted to, right? So you can essentially have an unlimited amount of number of pages that tell this big complete story. However, on film you're not going to have someone sit there for 2 days watching the movie.
Absolutely not.
You have to really condense it down to like either a short film or maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. So, what's your process in taking a book and chopping it up for the key points to then turn it into a feature film?
I think at the end of the day, when you're developing a book into a movie, like the rule of thumb is pretty much it's like it's what you can see, not what you can hear, right? So film is very visual, so it's all about taking out the exposition that is in books because books are all about exposition and paragraphs and paragraphs of explaining. In movies, it's not about what you can read or what you can say; it's about what you can see. So it's about kind of getting to those scenes that really move the narrative along, and then making those the focus that moves the arc of the story. So it's actually, I think at the end of the day too, you end up with more than you need, and then you cut it down. So I'm not necessarily cutting out a ton yet, but I'm kind of taking the parts that are the most important to me, and then condensing it down to the parts that actually move the story along. Because a lot of times, most movies. Most mainstream movies often are a little too long. Like there's always something that could have been taken out that people fought for to keep in because they just love that scene, but it's like you really didn't need it. And I think a lot of times when you're the one writing or you're the one directing, it is hard to chop off some stuff that you love. Because even in our thing, like there'd be stuff like you probably don't need this, but they don't care. Like they're gonna watch this anyway.
Right. We're gonna add this in.
We're gonna keep this in, but at the end of the day, you just want to make sure you're keeping things that actually are narrative focused and that actually move the arc. And so that's pretty much what I'm doing. And it's a long book, and the book is actually interesting too because it was written in the 70s, so it's an older book, and so the present day of that book is in the 70s, so it's a different kind of a time. I guess you could say a bit of a time period, a movie since it's not set in the last 40 years or so. But it's exciting. Like it's really fun. I'm excited to develop it. So
Can I
hopefully,
say I read the first 10 pages and it's just a rough draft and it's really great. So I mean, just I think the finished product is gonna be like amazing.
Isn't it crazy to think the 70s was like 40 to 50 years ago?
That's crazy.
Yes.
Like, that's crazy,
Yeah,
right?
It is.
I
that's
have
crazy.
a hard time remembering that the 90s were 20 years
Yeah,
ago.
that.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
No.
Oh my god.
No.
That's the end of the 90s.
Right.
30
Oh my
years
God.
ago, you're almost 30.
Yeah, the beginning of the 90s is definitely closer to 30.
Yikes.
So really, the 70s is closer to 50 years ago. Almost.
Yeah.
The beginning of the 50s, at least. I
Jeez.
mean, the 70s. Yeah.
Half
So
a century. It's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Where does the time go?
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
So, for a lot of the new listeners and viewers, recap real quick what season one of Can We Be Great? What was the premise behind it, and how did the main characters change over the season?
Absolutely. You want to start that? Let me just say one thing. I wasn't an actor in it, but Ashley was an actor, so I'll let her take this question since she was one of the stars of the web series.
But I mean, you were the
I
creator.
did
but
write
it's
a
all,
lot of it, but yeah,
it's
go
all
ahead.
good.
Yeah.
So basically, season one. So what we were really trying to highlight, like, kind of at the end of the day, was like ambition and like hustle and the grind it takes to pursue your dreams.
And the millennial
yeah,
experience.
yeah.
Is just like
That's pretty much like the theme
Yeah.
we were trying to go with. And so basically, the story is of two friends. I play Amber James, AJ, and my
But James.
AJ and Nate. And so they're two filmmakers trying to, get their stuff out the ground. And so they have this opportunity to, I guess, be mentored by like we made this fake.
Angela Woodson,
Yeah, Angela was this fake director. Like
Ava DuVernay.
yeah, we made her
Spike
like
Lee.
the top of the top.
Yeah.
And so basically they're trying to get mentorship by her, and so they have to put this short film, but they saw the deadline too
Late.
too late. Saw too late, so they have to rush and try to get the short film. And so basically it follows them like trying to get the short film at the last minute and the stuff they go through, the challenges, all that stuff.
And they
So
both.
it's literally your life because you were rushing to make a short film
Yes.
about someone rushing to make a short film.
But you know what's funny that you say that because that is hella true. I never really. I literally never put that together.
Yeah, I
that we were
didn't.
literally doing the exact same
Yeah.
thing as we were putting these
Yeah,
episodes out.
I didn't equate it to our life in that way
Yeah,
until you said that.
That is
Like
good
right
stuff.
now, yeah.
Yes. And it was hella stressful, and they were hella
Yeah.
stressed. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I guess it
really
parallel
did
life more
parallel
than we
life.
thought.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and I guess the arc of the characters, I guess it's kind of them growing in their friendship as well. So it's about the millennial experience, about looking for your dreams, about
I
that.
guess it did parallel.
Yeah. But then it's also about their friendship and about kind of the stress that comes when you're working on something and you low on money, you're low on time, and you hella stressed out.
You
But
low on
you
nerves.
low on nerves. You got zero. You know what's to give at this point,
Right.
and you're still trying to get to this deadline, which in your mind is like where your dreams lie. Like this is what I need to get to in
Yeah,
order to get
yeah.
there. But as you're also friends and you have disagreements creatively, and not just with the stress of the production, but also the stress of y'all having different ideas of what you want to do. Because
Right.
when you have two creatives, like clearly you can't do both ideas. Like if people have differing ways of doing a lot of stuff, we definitely had creative differences over the experience here and
Right,
there.
right,
You know.
right.
Yeah, but when you have creative differences, it can make magic because
Mm-hmm.
it's. I mean, you're talking about two different minds coming together to
Mm-hmm.
create something unique, right?
Yes.
Each of you would have done your own thing separately,
Right.
but then that's when creative people can come together
Right.
and create a completely new, essential masterpiece, right?
I mean, it's
Absolutely.
about like I mean, any partnership, like it's about compromise. So like, I can't just hammer everything I want to do. Like that wouldn't work. So you have to kind of give and take, or see how you can meet in the middle with stuff.
So,
Yeah.
how did the main characters evolve over the season? What was the final lesson learned at the end of the day?
Well, that's that. I would say if there was any reason to do a season two, it would be to to kind of see how this ends because we kind of left it on a bit of a cliffhanger where they kind of fell out.
Yeah.
It didn't end well. Like
But we
yeah,
kind of left it to where
it was
if
optimistic.
yeah, we left it in a way where if we could do a season two, but
Yeah.
also we left it in a way where we kind of closed it because like there was kind of
Well,
there was a
there's
sense of resolution.
yes and no.
Well,
Like
yes and
you
no,
don't
yeah.
yeah, yes and no. But I would say where they it's hard to say they grew as in matured. They kind of grew apart. If anything, they might have the lessons. I feel like the lessons they learned was well,
Maybe growth individually. I
yeah,
think maybe growth because even when we were talking about season two, a possible season two, and where it was gonna go,
yeah,
I think we were gonna take from they grew in the fact that they were they were trying to figure out I guess they were trying to get clarification on what they were trying to do, like their focus. Like, do they still really want to do this? This is their passion. Like, I think they grew in a maybe in a sense of just maybe it's not growth, but maybe it's
yeah,
just trying to
Maybe finding out a little bit more
maybe
of who they are
clarity.
or
Yeah,
what they
yeah.
want.
yeah.
Finding out
That's
who
a
they
good way to
are
yeah.
and
Well, I feel like that's something that so many people struggle with, not just millennials, but just people in general struggle to find what their passion is,
Right,
what they really like. So
right.
many people have an idea of what they like to do,
Yeah, but they don't
but
know.
they don't know.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, and I've gone through it, like in my career and other things. It's just you're in the mix of it. Things could be going well, but then you start taking a step back, and you're like, "Is this something I
Mhm.
really like and
Right.
really want to keep doing for the rest of my life?"
Right.
Right?
Right.
yeah,
So I would probably say it's more about finding that passion, right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, they were fine. Yeah, they had to they thought they wanted it, but
yeah.
then as they started doing it and then challenges started happening,
It's like how bad do you want it?
Right.
And
Right.
then there was also the component of we gotta like regardless of how we feel, we gotta get through this. And so there's definitely like a moment through the season where they weren't getting along, and then they're like, well, you know what, we got this deadline, let's make this happen. We gotta finish this movie. And when they actually finish the film, it kind of ends at the place of like, okay, did they win or not? You know what I mean? That's kind of where it ends of whether or not they're going to continue to work together because they ended up getting this mentorship, or if they didn't get it and where that leaves them. So
Hmm.
that's kind of where we left it on the cliff a little bit.
It'd be interesting to see if you to revisit season two, like at a later date
Yeah.
after several other projects in the works,
Yeah.
and then maybe or after completing several projects, then go back to revisit and say, okay, now we're gonna maybe address season two because you
Right.
have fans that want a season
Right.
two,
Yeah.
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And
Right.
then
Well,
see how
the
how
other thing
that's
we were
different.
playing around is with two is actually kind of reworking the whole series and making it almost like taking it not necessarily web but trying to write it for like a TV series but reworking it in a way like I don't know if we would but yeah
It's
using
kind of like
some of the same
yeah,
themes
it's kind of like
maybe
how Awkward Black Girl came into Insecure with Issa Rae's show.
right
Like
and it's not the
it's not
same
the
thing
same
but it's
show,
a
but it's very similar.
yeah
She has the same. They changed her name a little bit, but it's the same concept of her having this
yeah
job that is
yeah so
it's
that's
very
also
similar.
up in the
Yeah,
air. It's like maybe not necessarily a season two of the web series, but like a reworking of like a TV show.
Yeah, like improving on what made it good, and
Right,
then, and
right.
then fixing some of the places where it could have been better written, or the storyline could have had better narrative or whatever. But just kind of playing with it again and redoing it,
And
a
making it
little bit.
longer too.
Yeah, making it longer.
So I believe, if I remember correctly, when we were doing the podcast last time, we were talking about some of the challenges that you face in putting together a web series.
Right.
And I think, after interviewing the two of you and a few other filmmakers here on the podcast, it seems like the biggest obstacle comes down to funding, money. Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
And to simply pay for the professional actors to come in, because they're trying to make a living off acting too,
Right.
Yes.
So
Right.
then to pay for professionals to come in, and then you have equipment, and then you have costume design, and then you have venue locations, right?
Yes.
And all that adds up. But I think the most expensive thing for independent filmmakers is probably the actors, right?
Yes,
I
if you have
mean,
actors.
Right. Like, I mean, not necessarily though either, because some actors who are willing to do it for, like, our actors are the ones who were there. Like, we didn't necessarily pay them, but we pay for their gas or for their bridge toll
And their food.
and their food. So like we gave them some type of
Compensation.
we did what we could.
And for them, sometimes I guess it's exposure too.
Right.
It's another
Yeah.
it's another piece of
Yeah,
your resume.
yeah.
That,
So
people can
it's
reference.
not always paying. I mean, that could be. I
If
think
you do
sometimes
have
the most
professional actors,
expensive.
then it will add up.
Yeah, but I think sometimes the most expensive is like the sound.
Sound, really?
Yeah, because people think you can skimp on that and you can't, but then you really need to hire someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, I knew sound, but I couldn't do it because I
You
was
actor,
acting in
yeah.
it.
So
So
we had
we had someone
our
to help
old
us
people
out.
doing it, and
Yeah, and
some people would forget to press the button.
Right.
We had the ADR like an entire episode.
Yeah.
Because we had no sound, like literally no sound for an entire episode. So we had to come in.
Sounds like I was your sound person.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, it was so yeah. So
yeah, and we're
those
grateful
kind of
for
things
the
happen.
help, but
Yeah.
like, I think next time around we would pay for
Yeah.
someone for sound, definitely.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest things where a film had a low budget or is not a high budget is the sound. That's how you can recognize I want to say a bad, but a low production.
Low production quality
a
is
low
the
production
sound.
is
Yeah.
the sound and the lighting. Like, those are places where you're like, okay, this didn't have a lot of money, or they didn't have people who knew how to do it properly.
And there are definitely a few episodes where, as much as I could,
Yeah.
I could not get the sound to be
yeah,
the best.
Yeah.
So there was certain like spaces I'm like,
yeah,
did
Yeah,
the best
I
I
guess-
could.
Yeah, with sound, like the one thing that we've learned over the year with the podcast is that you have to have really high quality sound
Yes.
Right.
recorded.
Right.
And then at that point, you can do a lot with it.
Yes.
Right.
But if you have very poor audio
Right.
recorded from the very beginning,
It's hard to,
Exactly.
like they say, like, bad in is bad out. You can't get bad in, good out.
Yeah,
It's
in fact,
just-
we have those cloud lifter devices connected to the cords, and it's amazing what those simple products do. I think they were like $120 products, so they're pretty pricey.
Right.
But they boost the audio by
Okay.
25 decibels.
Okay.
Wow.
Without any white noise.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
and the audio now just comes out way clearer.
Like clear and crisp.
Sam, it's way easier to edit audio now, right? Yeah. Yeah, so
Nice.
it's it makes a difference when you record good quality audio.
Yeah, you have to have the good, like, and that's the thing too, like, good equipment. And we had some of that, but I mean, it wasn't like top notch, but it was decent. Like, we had but it's just like all that stuff is so expensive, because I definitely could have used a few more.
Yeah, and we didn't have
Piece of
a
equipment.
consistent sound person, because our sound
Right.
person was whoever happened to be on set,
Who was
wasn't in the
available.
scene.
Right,
Who wasn't
whoever
in the
was
scene.
available that
Like, well,
weekend.
can you do sound? Can you hold the boom mic today? It's
Right,
like,
yeah.
like that. So yeah, it's very improvising everything.
Yeah, I looked into getting a boom mic because when we were building out this studio here, I thought, oh, maybe we need a boom mic. But there's several out there, and then you have to know how to position them correctly and
Yeah.
how to point them
Yeah.
to who's talking
Right.
or where the sound is coming
Right,
from.
right.
Otherwise, it doesn't work as
Yeah.
effective.
That's
and
why it's
then
better for
it's a waste.
someone to hold it. But then when they hold it, you got to have the right boom mic,
And they
which
have to be willing to listen to you when you tell them that the boom is in the scene.
Yeah.
which one of our sound person
I'm like, girl, I'm in the thing. And
arguing with the
I
director.
can see the boom. No, it's if you don't lift the boom out of the, so you're dealing with a lot.
You need dedicated sound people. At the end of the day, you need someone who knows
but
what
we're
they're
gracious
doing.
to everybody who did sound for us on Can We Be Great. Every one of y'all.
Yeah, we are very
y'all.
gracious. Yeah.
So how long did it take to edit each episode?
How long it took and how long it should have taken is two different questions. Let me say that first of all, because
But that's where you've grown too.
Yeah. But I just mean in terms of like when you're limited by like I'm supposed to put this episode out on this date, you kind of have to do it as quickly as possible, as opposed to if I had time to kind of do it at a nice pace, it'd be different. But I would say, I don't know, 20 hours, 25 hours probably per episode after I get the sound.
Do you think doing the editing yourself makes you a better filmmaker when you're on set?
Absolutely, and I'll say this because oftentimes I've done projects where I didn't do the filming. I prefer to film unless somebody can film better than me. Is how I see it. So like if if you can't get better shots than me, then I'd rather do the shots because then I could blame myself for not having the right shot. But it's frustrating when somebody else does the shots and then you're like, dang, I wish you would have got this, and that, and y'all didn't get that. Now I'm stuck with what I got. So it does make you a better filmmaker because you know what you need afterward. Like you have the vision for when I edit this, I need to make sure I have these establishing shots. I need to make sure I have, this, that, these close-ups. But if you're just filming and you're not thinking about the post, then you can leave somebody, a little upset at the end of the day. At the end of the day. So, yeah. But like I said, I don't like to film. Let me make that clear. Even though I do it, I don't.
No, but
I don't
you're
be
just saying you don't like to actually.
Yeah, I don't like to be the. I like directing, but I don't like being the cinematographer.
But that's because we had such a small crew. You had to be. But normally the director doesn't hold the camera.
Yeah.
That's the DP.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
So doing everything yourself, though. So if editing makes you a better filmmaker, does filmmaking make you a better director?
I think so. I do, because it's the director. Their biggest thing is the vision of the overall production. They're the big look is the director, right? And the editor works hand in hand with the director to make sure that their vision is done in post production. So yeah, absolutely, I would say that being an editor definitely helps me see the bigger picture and the bigger vision as well. So yes.
Now acting. So how did you evolve in acting during the season?
My God.
She's horrified by her acting now. Now that she's in acting school.
So the thing is, I did this right before I was going into acting school. So this was like I wanted this to be kind of like my last or my first project, and then my kind of last thing I was going to do until I finished training. So I'm actually.
I guess it's a way to see how you were before.
Yeah.
And then the next piece you do,
It's gonna see how I am with the training. I'm a little horrified with certain stuff that I saw, and then I'm also a little like ashamed with the way I kind of approached. I guess approached the filming. Like, yeah, I'm a little ashamed. Like she said, some of that stuff was a party. Like I didn't mean a party.
Like she was, like Ashley was one of the people drinking at the party too. Like
Okay,
everybody was having a
okay.
good time at the party. I'm like, Ashley, you what in the world?
I don't do that now because my school has taught me professionalism, and you have to have a certain mindset to. So I am a little ashamed to wait, but then I didn't know. So and it was like my friend, so I was like having fun. So I got a little caught up. So, but this like whatever we do in we're trying to put something out in August 2019. So whatever we do, like it's gonna be a whole new
attitude.
Yeah, a whole new approach. Like even just how I prepare for it. Like I kind of know a little bit of what I'm doing now. A little bit. So just how to prepare when I'm on set, like everything's gonna be different.
Like how do you prepare, or how are you supposed to prepare?
I guess it depends on the role and what I guess I would prepare. There's different ways you can prepare. How can you prepare? I mean, you could watch things on. It depends on what the role is, but you can watch stuff on YouTube, music, articles, talking to people. There's like so many different ways.
Because the thing that's always fascinated me about acting is how the actor or actress has to work very hard and talented to get into the mindset of the character that they're playing.
Right.
And most of the time, I would say 99% of the time, that character doesn't exist.
Right.
You don't have that character there next to you saying, okay, here's the way I would do it.
Right.
And then now act, right?
Right.
So you have to get into the mindset of this
character,
character that doesn't exist, that you're trying to portray a story
right.
to an audience. Like,
Yeah, so I would do it differently because I wrote it, like I didn't really prepare in the sense of the way I would prepare the next time we do something. But like I guess for example, like in this past year in class, like I had to do the first we did like 3 rounds of scene work, like using text, just like maybe 5 pages. And so for that, how I prepared for that was to get into the mindset of the character. It was dealing with like no, special education, and particularly like kids of color in special education. So I found actually like it was like 2 or 3 long interviews about someone really talking about that, and I would like listen to that over and over, and he was like something about that, like just the way he was describing it, it was very passionate. And then I read articles on public education, I like all that, so that's how I prepared. Then when I did the scene, like it was that was the most magical thing, like it just came out. I don't even know how to explain it, like
Mm.
just you prepare and then you're in the moment with your character and it just comes up. Like, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess you just have to kind of imagine the way the character would do certain things, and then maybe just try to find sources
I mean, I
and
didn't even
just
imagine. I kind of just tried to put myself in her world. So I just tried to get as much information about that world and about how, like, I kind of already knew how I would feel. I kind of agree with the character, how she felt. Like I felt the same way, just naturally. Like, so we agree with that. And then I just tried to put in that world, public education,
mhm,
school, like and then my own experiences with knowing people who did that. So all of that and just thinking about it constantly and
yeah.
then in the moment
Yeah,
it just
acting
comes out.
yeah, acting really fascinates me because many times you're also doing a role that maybe you don't agree with the way
Right,
the people
right,
think
right,
and the politics or
right,
whatever the case
Mm.
is. And you're still portraying the person and you
right.
have to portray
You have to
them
find the truth in it.
Yeah, you got to find
correct.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just fascinating how the actor or actress would have to completely switch their mindset and
Right,
basically block themselves out
right,
and become a different person.
right. And I think for each actor it's different, and also the way you've been trained. Like I'm training in a specific way, like a certain technique to kind of how to do it. So
And
that's yeah.
and it's as important to train how to get out of characters as well, because people can kind of get caught up in the characters
Like
they
Jared
play.
Leto.
Yeah, Jared Leto, Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
People can get these really crazy characters, and it's hard to purge them too, because you have to purge those
Right.
characters
Nah,
back
but
out of
and
you.
even in class, and we weren't
Yeah,
doing heavy character, but
yeah.
even in class, like after, like sometimes our several times our teacher would have to be like, okay, come back into the room. She's like, it's not real. Like she would have to talk, like be like, it's not real. Like make yourself aware that you're in
Really?
the room, like because people would be like crying and like it like really emotional and like pissed off. Like one time I was pissed. She was like, okay, it's not real. Like come like to talk yourself back into like it's not real. Come back into your space, like you're just playing, you're having fun. It's not real.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So it can get pretty intense.
Yeah, nah, it gets intense. Like one time I wanted to fight, like it's crazy. And then she was like, back up, like don't. I wanted, like, I was trying to get the girl so we could fight because I wanted to fight her. And this just in class. And then she's like, back up, like give each other the space, like back, like so. Yeah,
So what's next as far as project? You said you're in New York City now.
yeah. I'm in New York. Yeah.
So what prompted you to move to New York City and
Um, Acting school.
acting school?
Yeah, yeah. I got into this acting school I was obsessed with. And I'm like, oh, I got in, I'm going. So yeah, acting school. Yeah.
So when you're done with that, any plans to come back to the Bay Area?
Eventually, I mean, eventually, like I like New York now. Like it took me a little minute because it's very different.
Mm.
But I like it, and so I'm gonna stay until something brings me back here. But I do eventually want to like permanently be in California.
I was just talking to someone earlier today about New York City, and they were telling me how it's a great place to visit, but
Hmm.
them personally, they could not live there just because it's so fast paced, but it's
Yeah.
so large, so many things to do there that
Right.
despite the number of people there, you can still feel
Lost.
alone
Oh,
and lost.
absolutely. Like there's so many people, but everyone's going, going, going. It's like everyone is like focused. Everyone has a grind. Everyone has like
They don't
almost
make.
two or
I've
three
always
jobs.
heard
Like
they don't
it's
make eye contact. It's like people don't really look at you when you walk past them.
um, it depends. Cause there's so many people in New York, and there's so many people like who are non New York, like non New Yorkers. So like I mean, it depends.
Transplants.
Yeah,
They
like
look at
people
you.
think like New York, like you always hear, oh, they're so mean. They're not mean. They're just very direct, and they don't
It's a
have.
different culture.
Yeah, it's like it's not mean though. Like,
Hmm.
and they will like if he's like, hey, how do I get? They will tell you. Just don't be asking them extra. Like, just get to the point. Like, they're very direct, but they're not mean. So, yeah, no.
Okay. So 2018 movies. Anything that's popped out for either of you this year?
Absolutely. I've seen some fantastic movies in 2018. I have a list. No, no, I really do. No, I really do though. But yeah, I saw a lot of good movies this year. I really liked Black Panther, of course.
That was a
Let me
great
give
one.
it. Let me give a shout out to Black Panther first. Whoop, whoop. Wakanda forever. But yeah,
Not like
Hey,
that movie.
right, it's
right.
fantastic. And
Wakanda
speaking of people having to
forever.
purge characters, I heard about Michael B. Jordan having to purge
What's the name? I can't think of the name.
Killmonger.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Killmonger.
Killmonger, and that it took him a long time to purge that character out. It really like gave him a lot of anxiety and stuff. So it really is real.
Really?
Yeah, like I heard he like really had some issues with purging that character back out. But anyway, side note. But I did really enjoy Black Panther. I liked Black Klansman. Shout out to Spike Lee. Thought that movie was excellent. I liked Quiet Place. Thought that was a great movie.
I didn't finish that one.
It was awesome. But the only thing that sucked about it is that the theater I was in had these young people, and I mean young like middle school age,
They were
talking
talking.
through all the quiet moments weren't quiet. None of them. And it was very irritating, I'll say. And I wanted to say a lot in that movie, but I had to really
Hold it
relax.
in.
But it's like that was like the one movie where you can't have people acting up. Like that's
Because
like
it's so quiet.
it's
Right.
damn near a silent film,
Right.
and all I could hear was these people. So yeah, it was
Right.
infuriating. Let me just say. And yeah, I saw Green Book recently, which was really good. That's the one with Mahershala Ali from the Bay Area. Yes, and I thought that was really good. Him and what was it
Oh, Viggo Mortensen.
Viggo Mortensen? Yeah, have you
Or
heard of
something
that
like
one?
that.
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's really good film. But yeah, those are just some of the ones I really enjoyed this year.
Well, you like took mines because I was like, what did I see? I didn't even see that. I didn't see that many movies this year. That's why. That's exactly why. I think I only went to the movie theater. Oh, I guess another one I liked, which I like the way they did it, Halloween,
Halloween was
because
awesome.
they flipped the story a little bit.
I didn't see that one, but I've heard so many good reviews
Okay,
I
yeah,
loved
I
how they
it.
liked
did it.
it. Yeah,
I loved it.
I like the way they kind of flipped the story. I don't know. I just like the way they did it. Like I thought
Yeah.
it was like kind of a fresh take on a
Yeah,
remake.
it was the first
I
take.
thought it was
Yeah,
gonna be bad at
I
first
did too. Yeah,
because most remakes like
Are
that
horrible.
are
suck.
just
Yeah,
horrible.
yeah.
Yeah.
But they actually did their
Yeah,
thing. I was like, okay.
and I love me some Jamie Lee. That's my girl.
Yeah, I like Jamie Lee.
Love
Yeah,
her. But yeah,
she was like
yeah,
hella badass in this one,
she was
which
hella
I
badass.
loved.
Oh, and Crazy Rich Asians. I really like that movie as well. That was awesome.
I
That's a
haven't seen that
TV
one.
show now too, right?
I know
They
it's a
Or
turn
they
it.
have a
book.
TV
I kn-
show?
It's a book. It was a book, right?
It was a book series. I don't know if they're turning it into a.
I
I know
wouldn't
they're
be
turning it into a movie
surprised.
series, so they're doing a
Okay.
sequel to that. I
Oh
think
my
it's like
God.
4 books or something.
Oh my God, was that 2018 or 2017 Girls Trip?
That was 2017.
Oh
That was
man,
2017.
that was 17.
Yeah, I think that couldn't have been last
Oh,
year.
2018, because my girl, I just got to give it up to my girl. Support the girls.
Oh
So
right, yeah.
I
Regina
just
Hall.
like, yeah, I just like Regina Hall in it. I thought like it was just a different character. I haven't really seen her play. She had an accent, which I was excited about. Like it was just a cute little, as she calls it, like a slice of life film. So it was like an indie.
Hmm.
It was cool though.
What about holiday films? Any favorite holiday films?
Yes, absolutely. Of course, classic Home Alones. Just, I mean,
Home
just
Alone 1 and 2, not 3.
no.
Yeah.
Only
One and
Macaulay
two.
Macaulay
Home Alone
Culkin.
Yeah.
isn't really even a Christmas movie. It takes
Yeah.
place in January.
Oh my
Yeah,
Does it really?
and that little boy was annoying. Like, no, it's only the Macaulay Culkin ones. Like, that's my guy. Those are classics. I do like Love Actually, the British holiday film. That was great. And then I like this is like a little bit more of a smaller one. Y'all may not have seen this one, but with Vanessa Williams, she has one. You ever seen Vanessa Williams' holiday film? It's called
Probably.
A Diva's Christmas Carol. It
Probably.
used to come on VH1. Oh, so funny.
I mean,
Yes, and Chili from TLC is in it. It's just hella random, but I really like that movie. It's a delight, absolute delight.
I don't. Me and the holidays are weird. Like I love the holiday, but my family, like my sisters and mom, call me Grinch. Um, I don't
Not your
really
favorite
have
holiday
any.
film? The Grinch?
Nah, it's not. I don't really have a favorite holiday film, but I always end up watching Die Hard,
Oh, Die Hard's
and
a
it's not even
great
holiday.
Christmas.
I
It
mean,
is. That is
I've
a
heard a
Christmas
lot
film.
of people say Die Hard's
they
a
But
say
holiday
it's a
film.
Christmas film, whatever. I
I'm
just
on
think
the
it's a
side
great
that
action
is
film.
no, it's a great Christmas movie.
I don't consider it a Christmas film, but
It's
I always
Christmas.
probably end up watching it. But
It's great.
yeah, I don't really have holiday film like that. Like, yeah, I don't even like Christmas music, so like
She
I
is the
hate
Grinch. Oh
Christmas
my
music.
God. Jeez Louise.
See, I don't mind Christmas music, but sometimes it does get played out, especially if you're on 96.5.
Yeah, I don't even listen to that station
That's
for that reason. I'm just like,
My
all right.
sisters
They started
love
at
it though,
Halloween.
so it's like when I'm in the like I have to listen to when they're and then my parents. I'm like I just hate it. I don't know why. I just hate Christmas music, but I like the holidays.
Yeah, my favorite one is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Really? I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
For me, it's
it's-
Elf.
Oh, Elf is,
Elf is a good
That
one,
I
too.
was just
I have
watching that
I have
like a
like
few
a
days
hate
ago.
relationship with the Elf movie though. Like I really despise that movie, and the reason why I despise it, one of my mom's good friends loved this movie Elf, and she convinced my mom and I to come over just to watch Elf. And I don't know what our anticipation was, but we were just like, "What is this movie?" Like we were so like Will Ferrell, like what in the world? So yeah, I have.
I love everything about Will Ferrell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you
That
love
movie's
Will
just a
Ferrell,
ridiculous level.
yes, yeah, if you love Will Ferrell, then that is your cup of tea for sure.
The
Yeah.
one movie that I saw a couple weeks ago that I haven't seen in a long time and I forgot how funny it was Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh my god,
I was just talking to a coworker about that.
Classic.
Oh my god, I haven't seen that in so long.
that movie is
Yeah.
absolute classic.
Can I have some of your tots?
Right, that movie is awesome.
But you know what made me? I was telling him because he was pulling chips out of his pocket, and I was like, "Hey, can I have some of your tots?" But he never saw it. He was like, I tried to watch it and I just couldn't do it." It's like, are you kidding
It's a love or
me?
hate one.
It's
you think
so-
but
yeah.
but it's one of those. It's like polarizing. It's either you love it
Or you hate it.
think
I
is
get
the
it.
dumbest movie on
Yeah.
the like White Chicks. That's how you feel about that movie too.
Love White Chicks.
Either you love it or you think it's the dumbest movie on the planet.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I-
What were
I
the
love it.
what were the tapes that he ended up buying? Was it like Q-Tips dance video or something? Or-
oh man, in
Yeah.
Napoleon.
Yeah, in Napoleon Dynamite, yeah, where he learned how to dance and then
Yes,
that was his
that was
rescue
his-
plan
Oh
for
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I don't even remember.
No. Nah, I can't even.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't remember.
it was a great movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
And I love.
I feel
what's her
like
name?
every
Shout out to
character.
Lunel, her little cameo in that movie.
Yeah, I feel like every character in that movie, someone knows someone who's just like that.
Yes. Yes.
I think that's what made
A
the
hot
movie
mess.
special.
A
Yeah.
hot mess. Yes. That's a
Okay,
good one.
so as we wrap this up,
Mhm.
where can people find Can We Be Great?
YouTube. You can just type in the search CWBG, which stands for Can We Be Great?
Series.
CWBG series, and it's like the first channel that pops up.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And we have our first season was 6 episodes.
Yes.
6 episodes and a trailer you'll see on there. And we're like a view away from 1,000 views on our
On the
trailer.
trailer,
So
yeah.
can y'all just give us like 3 more
Right,
views?
just
so we
get
can,
2
Yeah,
more
so
so we can hit the
1K?
1,000 mark.
Good
Jesus.
God.
Hey,
Good
Sam,
God.
let's go ahead
All I
and
want
link
for
up the
Christmas.
season to the description.
Right, look, all we want for Christmas is 1,000
It's 1,000
views. On the
views.
trailer.
That's all we want.
Yeah, absolutely. So you
Well,
can
I
definitely
wish
catch
you
up on there.
both the best in everything that you're doing in the
Thank you so
projects,
much.
the acting school, the converting the book to the film, and
Thank you.
so wish you the best. Thank you for coming back onto the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for
and
having us.
Do want to give a shout out to East Brother Beer for the
Yum.
beer sponsorship here.
Hey.
Their beer is awesome.
It
I enjoyed
is.
it. You
I've enjoyed it.
It's
I'm a
delicious.
beer lover, so yes.
Awesome. And they're located right here in Richmond.
Yeah.
So they're local. So thank you for being on the podcast and good luck.
Thank you so much.
Happy
for having
holidays.
us.
Yeah, thank
happy
you. Same to
holidays.
you. Happy holidays, everyone.
Absolutely. Happy holidays.
Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Thank you to our producer, Sam Lubman. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share the podcast. Remember, you can listen to the podcast on iTunes, Podbean, iHeartRadio, Google Play, SoundCloud, and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. For more information on my business as a property manager and real estate team, go visit my website at marcguzman.com. I really want to thank all of you for listening. It means the world to me, and I hope today's episode provides you value in your day-to-day life. I created this podcast to help showcase the many great people that live in this world and help share some knowledge that I've learned along the way in life. Again, thank you for listening. Check out our sponsors, and I'll catch you on the next episode.